Well, a very, very happy Monday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me today. I apologize for Friday, but I had a medical procedure, and hopefully we're going to know if it went well within about 6 to 8 weeks, but up and around a little bit. But I'll get into that here in a minute. But I wasn't on Friday. I won't be on next Monday either because I'm going to be speaking at a luncheon that we're going to tell you about here in just a minute. But hey, as usual, I want to remind everyone if you're tuning in for the very, very first time, please, like our program. Please subscribe to our program. Please share the program with your neighbor. Tell a friend. And if you'd like to be a part of our Gold Glove membership, $2.99 a month. You can just click and get signed up. $2.99 a month, and it certainly helps support the channel. Very much appreciate that, and also appreciate the supers that we get when some of you ask your questions. So very much appreciate that. I got a lot to share today. But I do want to tell you about the luncheon next Monday. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be at the legendary Tom Ham's Lighthouse. It's a long day, but it's a fun day. $60. You show up at 9 o'clock. You don't have to get there right at 9 o'clock, but registration and social time at 9. 10:30, things get to rolling a little bit, and we're there till about 2 o'clock. I went last year. I was asked to be the guest speaker this year. Very excited about it. Wally Henry, who played at Lincoln High, played at UCLA, played in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles, is going to be there as well. Carolyn and Karen Tatafa, great volleyball players out of Sweetwater High School who went on and did some wonderful things in women's volleyball nationally, are going to be there. And I remember last year, their guest speaker was Garth DeFelice, who was an NFL official for many years. And Garth, the great guy, San Diego State grad, lives and in San Diego, worked in San Diego for many years, but had a great career as an NFL official. And listening to him speak a year ago was so interesting to hear what the officials go through. So I'm going to be the guest speaker this year. I'll talk about my life, my coaching, my radio, my TV, all that stuff. And if you'd like to come out and be a part of it, everybody's welcome. It's the San Diego Jocks Luncheon next Monday. $60 at the door. You can just walk up, pay the $60, have lunch. If you're an athlete, former athlete in San Diego, you've never come, I think you'll find a lot of old friends there. So we'll look forward to that next Monday, but we won't have a show next Monday. Okay, we're going to get in right now to Saturday. Now, you got to understand, I had this procedure on Friday, and I was stressed about speaking at Randy's celebration on Saturday because I didn't know my mobility. The doctor wanted me on crutches. I didn't want to be on crutches. So the Padres were fantastic to me. They set up to where I got picked up in the parking lot with a little cart. They took me to the front gate, the home plate gate. Kelly and I waited for a few minutes. They brought a wheelchair. They wheeled me out to right field. I was the first person seated. Kelly and I were the first people seated for Randy's celebration. We got there. We were right there, right in the second row. And Maggie Coleman, Jerry Coleman's wife, was sitting right next to us. Alicia Gwynn, Tony Gwynn Jr., just a couple of down from me, and got a chance to visit with everybody. It was fantastic. Trevor Hoffman. It was a lot of fun. And I'll tell you more about some of the players I talked to here in a minute. But anyways, I get wheeled onto the field. And they wheeled me in right by the Padre dugout. And Trevor Hoffman was right there by the dugout. And I looked out of the corner of my eye and I saw Trevor's look on his face when he saw that I was being wheeled out there. It was like, man, what's going on with Coach? So we're sitting there and Trevor ended up coming over and go, hey, what's going on with you? And I told him I had this procedure and I can't really walk that much. So that was cool. But the Padres were unbelievable to me and Kelly. My wife was really stressed about me going to the ballpark after this procedure the day before. Plus that, I had to call a basketball game on Saturday night. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyways, they wheeled me out to the field when the celebration of life was over, they got me in the wheelchair. They wheeled me up to the Premier Club where they were having a little get together afterwards for friends and family. And then when we were done, they wheeled me all the way out to my car in the Lexus parking lot. So, Padres, thank you very much. I got to tell you, the Padres put on an incredible performance the other day. I mean, they did everything perfect. And I think Marie and Stacy and Jamie, Marie, Randy's wife, and Stacy and Jamie, Randy's daughter, and their families, they were really they were overwhelmed by the love that they received from a lot of you folks out there. And you folks that did show up, and I know hundreds of people because I've heard about it through text messages. I don't even know how some people got my phone number, but I was getting text messages all Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, and even yesterday saying, "Hey, great job, great celebration of life." But I got to thank the Padres. I mean, really, I got to thank the Padres, the ownership at John Seidler. You had Eric Katsenda there. You had Tom Seidler. You had Eric Grupner, Eric Meyer, Jesse Nair, who were very instrumental in getting this all together. And it couldn't have gone any better. All the speakers were absolutely fantastic. I'll show you the program. This was the program that they had the other day for Randy. And in it, they had all the speakers' names. And I'll mention the speakers right now. It started off Color Guard, National Anthem. Mike Gallagher did a fantastic job. Jesse Agler, radio voice of the Padres, fantastic job of emceeing the event. Jeff Horn gave the eulogy, our little prayer, video tribute, and then they went right into Tim Flannery. Every hello is goodbye. The only thing that I would like to have seen, and I think of a lot of other people, Flan said a few words about Randy. And you got to realize when Randy was with the Padres, Tim broke in with the Padres when he was like 21 years of age. And what's unique about it, both these guys played college baseball at Chapman. And Tim obviously is a very good musician. I know he had another gig that night. Uh, but I would have liked to have probably heard Tim talk a little bit more about Randy. He had a few comments about Randy, and they were right from the heart, as always, from Flan. Flan's a deep thinking, deep hearted guy, great guy. I got to know Tim Flannery very well over the years. In 2004, we did the Padres radio postgame show together before he went into the booth, and then Boach took him up to San Francisco when he got that job. Greg Fox, the son-in-law of Randy Jones, had a great eulogy to Randy. And then Ted Leitner, Curtis Gandy, and Matt Schwartz from the Randy Jones Foundation. And I got to tell you, I'm really proud. After Randy passed, they asked me to be on the board for the Randy Jones Foundation. So now I'm a board member for the Randy Jones Foundation. So I'm very excited about that. Bob Chandler spoke just before I did, and then Eric Grupner finished it up. And that's when Eric Grupner made the announcement that in 2026, all the Padre uniforms, home, away, alternate, everything that comes out will have number 35 on it. So a job well done by the Padres, by all the speakers, everyone that was involved, and everyone that showed up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll tell you, I was relieved. I think my speech went pretty well talking about Randy. I told some stories about how we got Vladimir Guerrero to take a picture with us. I talked about when Randy brought Don Zimmer on June 22nd, 2002, the day that Jake Peavy broke into the big leagues. He went down and got Zimmer in the Yankee clubhouse and drove him out to do an interview with us out in the parking lot. They had over 60,000 that day. So, the parking lot was packed, and we're doing this talk show that I talked the program director into letting Randy and I do. And he went down and got Don Zimmer and brought him out in a golf cart in his full Yankee uniform. How cool was that? And I shared some other stories about Randy, but I'll tell you, I was happy that it went as well as it did. It couldn't have gone any better. And again, I think everyone did a great job of eulogizing Randy, and I think the family was extremely happy. And a great job by the Padres. Really a great job by the Padres. Okay, we got to get to this Yu Darvish story. And it really wasn't a story. That's the problem. Is you retiring or not? Now, Saturday, Kevin Acee from Union Tribune came out saying that Darvish was done basically. In fact, the headline in the paper, and I kept that. I always keep the paper. Um, Darvish poised to walk away from contract. Padre pitcher will evaluate options as rehab of elbow continues. Well, that was yesterday, but Saturday he was reporting Kevin was that Darvish was retiring. Well, you know what? Really, Darvish isn't doing anything different now than he was in late October and early November after the surgery. And they asked him on November 3rd, and it was written in November 4th. He wants to rehab. He wants to see where it goes. Now, here's Darvish's comment after he kind of got sideswiped on this story by Kevin Acee on Saturday. And we'll put Darvish's quotes up here. This is Yu Darvish. You may have seen an article, and although I'm leaning towards voiding the contract, there's still a lot that has to be talked over with the Padres, so the finer details are yet to be decided. Also, I will not be announcing my retirement yet. Right now, I'm fully focused on my rehab for my elbow, and if it gets to a point where I can throw again, I will start from scratch again to compete. If once I get to that point, I feel I can do that, I will announce my retirement. Okay, so, anyways, I don't know where Kevin got this, but I would think before you write, and again, I'm not a writer, but for years I've had to check things out, and I usually use multiple sources. Okay. And I'm just kind of mind boggled by this altogether, quite frankly. But really, this was a story about nothing. Nothing. Yu Darvish, it said, hey, I'm going to rehab. I'm going to see if I can pitch again. If I can't pitch, I'll retire. Now, when he had the surgery in late October, it was a 12 to 15 month situation. It's going to take him to rehab. And, you know, Yu Darvish is 39 years of age. Before he can come back and pitch, he'd be 40 years of age. Yu Darvish is a very proud man. Yu Darvish is not going to go back out on a major league mound unless he knows he can get people out. And I thought I'd show you a couple things. Number one, Yu Darvish last season, we know it was a rough year. Pitching hurt, 15 starts, 72 innings, 5-5, and a 5.38. 5 years with the Padres to this point, 115 starts, 44-37, and a 3.97 ERA. 7 playoff starts, he's pitched great. 3-3 with a 2.95 ERA. Big money pitcher. You know, postseason, been very good for the Padres. Hasn't always had a great postseason with other ball clubs, but pitched pretty well for the Padres. But this story, very premature. His agent is Joel Wolf, who's a really notable agent. Not a hard guy to get a hold of. You call him, hey, I got this information. The U's looking to retire. What's the story? And Wolf's going to give him whatever he can give him at that point in time. And I would think that Kevin probably has the ability to talk to Yu Darvish, considering travel with the ball, travels on the road to see the ball club, at the ballpark and the hotel and all that stuff. I don't know. This was kind of got everybody hot and bothered for no reason more than anything else. But I will tell you this: the way I'm reading through the tea leaves on this, Yu Darvish is a good guy. And I cannot impress upon you how good a guy he is, how hard a working guy he is, how dedicated guy he is to his family and to his craft. And he's been really good to the Padre organization. You may say, well, he hadn't pitched as well as we thought. Well, you know what? The guy's gone out and done what he could do. Has he been a Cy Young Award winner here? No. Never won a Cy Young, finished second once. But I think when you talk about where he's at right now, and I wrote down this coming year, he's due $15 million. In fact, if he stayed through his next 3 years with his contract, he would get a total of $43 million. 15 this year, 14 in each 27 and 28. And what it says about voiding the contract. Now, there are a lot of things that go into this. Number one, you got the Padres. You got Joe Wolf, the agent, Joel Wolf, Darvish, and then I guarantee you the Major League Baseball Players Association is going to get involved. They don't want to see Darvish lose a dime. But I think what Darvish is, because he's so honorable. Remember, not last year, but the year before, when he was trying to come back and then he came back and then he left the ball club for personal reasons. He had a very, very sick family member, very sick, and had to go to Japan. And, but anyways, that's here nor there. But he told the Padres, even though he could take a personal leave, he could still get paid. He goes, "Hey, don't pay me. I need to take this time off. You don't have to pay me." Not a lot of players that do that. Not a lot of players that do that at all, folks. And Yu Darvish did that. And I think here's my take on it. I would imagine that the Padres have insurance on Yu Darvish and all their big money guys. It's not cheap, but it's, a little guarantee. You get a little money back if a guy, gets hurt and is going to miss time. I don't know if they have it on everybody or just some guys or what. But I would imagine they have some kind of insurance policy on their big money guys. And Yu Darvish, I think, first of all, I think he's entitled to the money in 2026. You may disagree, but the guy's going to be coming to the ballpark. He's going to be rehabbing. I'm sure he's going to spend time in the dugout, working with young pitchers. I mean, we heard about everything he developed with Randy Vasquez last year, and look how good Randy Vasquez became. Randy Vasquez really turned a corner last year, and hopefully he can continue to improve. Still very young, and hopefully he can continue to improve. Yu Darvish can still help this ball club, even though he can't pitch a baseball right now. But I think the man has earned his money for this year. Now, after this year, if he tries to come back and he just doesn't have it, and they void the contract or he retires, so be it. But I don't necessarily think they should void the entire contract right now. I think you got to let this thing play out. Now, Darvish, because he's an honorable guy, the way he sounds like, hey, we're going to void the contract. If I get healthy and I think I can pitch again, then we'll start from scratch. And that means, start from scratch on a contract. But I do think in my heart, I do think the man deserves his money for 2026. He didn't go out intentionally get hurt. And all these other guys get paid when they're rehabbing. Why shouldn't Yu Darvish get paid? And then after this year, see where it goes. I think you got to let this story play out. Basically, what I'm saying right now. Let the guy try to get healthy. If he thinks he can come back and pitch and help the ball club and pitch at a high level, Yu Darvish is not going to go out there and pitch just to pitch and get banged around. I guarantee you that. The guy is way too prideful to do that. Where do you stand on this? I say you pay him for 2026. Let him be a part of the ball club. Let him rehab. Let him impart the wisdom that he has with other young ball players, not only in the big league ball club, but down in the minor leagues and spring training. Having a guy around that has done what Yu Darvish has done for so long is very, very important. You never know when just a couple of little things, a different grip, a different stride, different arm angle. Yu Darvish has done it all. This guy can help the ball club even though he can't throw a baseball 60 feet 6 inches right now. Where do you stand on Yu Darvish? So really, at the end of the day, all the things that came out over the weekend, it was just hearsay. Okay, that's all it was. No different than what we heard at the end of October and early November. He's going to try to get healthy. If he can get healthy and go out and pitch, then he'll go out and pitch. If not, he'll hang it up. But I don't think you need to worry about voiding the contract right now. That's my take. Pay him for 2026. Let him be a part of the ball club. Let's see if he can come back. If not, he announces his retirement as a San Diego Padre. So give me your take on that. And we're going to get out to your questions here in just a couple of minutes. Okay. Two other things. I talked to a high-level executive on Saturday, Celebration of Life. God, it was so weird sitting in a wheelchair. I got to be honest with you. And I'm talking to this Padre executive, and I'm sitting in a wheelchair. And it was just kind of weird. But anyways, AJ Preller, we keep talking about his contract extension. Well, the two sides are still talking, from what I understand. I'll tell you something else about AJ here in a minute. So the two sides are still talking. And then yesterday, up at the Miracle League, and I'm going to talk more about that here in a second as well. Eric Grupner talked to one of my former colleagues, Marty Caswell, and he goes, "Yeah, we're still talking." He kind of giggled a little bit about it. So I know they're still talking because I got good info on Saturday. But Eric Grupner, everything I was told on Saturday, Eric Grupner said to Marty yesterday on X. So I had a good source. Okay, AJ Preller, he's in Japan right now. And I told this Padre executive, I go, "Hey, is AJ here today?" He goes, "No, he's in Japan." And I go, "Hopefully he's looking for Otani's cousin." And the executive goes, "Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?" But anyways, AJ's working. They're working on the contract extension. Now, Joe Musgrove and Jackson Merrill yesterday, and this was something I was supposed to attend. I had to send Dan Engel an email and apologize. After Saturday, I just couldn't get up to San Diego Park, which isn't very far for me, but they got the hills. In fact, the park that they rededicated yesterday is where I held my 9th and 10th birthday, right on that ball field. We'd eat our hot dogs and we'd go play ball up on that top field at San Diego Park. No San Diego Park like the back of my hand. I was there 18 years ago when they opened up the Miracle League of San Diego. And by the way, Randy Jones was with me that day. And my wife and I had planned to go yesterday, but I said to Dan, I go, "Dan, I can't get up there. It's just too much. It was too big a weekend for me." But I'm glad they had a great day yesterday. It's a great league. Dan Engel running that league after all these years. Miracle League of San Diego. They got two different fields. They got one in San Diego, one here in North County at San Diego Park. Joe Musgrove, Jackson Merrill showed up. Eric Grupner was there yesterday. A lot of Padre people. I saw John Seidler in the film. And anybody I don't mention, I think Tom Seidler was there as well. I'll just say the entire front office of the Padres, good group of people there. So everybody that was there, congratulations. I wish I could have been there. The Friar was there. Love the Friar. But anyways, Joe was there yesterday. And, we've talked about Joe, and there's going to be an innings restriction. And Joe said it yesterday. He goes, "I'm healthy." I guess he'd been throwing a while. He took a little time off just to, kind of get ready, give himself a little bit of a break, but he's a full go. But he said, "Hey, there's going to be a pitch restriction. There will be an innings restriction." He goes, "I want to be ready for October." And I talked about it last week on when the Padres, they're right in the mix for a playoff spot. They're right in the mix for a playoff spot this year. No question about it. I still think that they're probably the second best team in the National League West. You got to watch out for the Diamondbacks. I don't really know what to expect from the San Francisco Giants and Colorado. Colorado may be good enough just to screw some teams up. You don't get ready to play, or you get one of those goofy games at Coors Field. Colorado may be good enough to be the fly in the ointment from time to time, but they're not going to be a contender. They may get hot and win 3 or 4 here or there. You may play them at a time when they're playing great and they get you 2 out of 3, but they're not going to be a player in the division. And they're not going to be a player for a postseason berth for a few years. So I still think the Padres are the second best team in the National League West. Hopefully they're able to get that done. I still think the Dodgers, just too much depth all the way around. Too much depth with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay, we're going to get out and get to Coach's Crew. Get a lot of questions in today. I know a lot of people probably want to chat. And man, just think about this. We're only a couple of weeks away from spring training. That's going to be great. Pitchers and catchers, and then the full squad. We got the World Baseball Classic this year as well. Okay, let's get out to our questions on this Monday morning. B-Rob, I pray for you and your well-being, Coach. Thank you very much. Everything's going to be fine. It just, I've been dealing with a little problem for a few years now. We're trying to rectify it. I've seen a million doctors, a million tests. Dr. Chen at UCSD, I think hopefully he's hit a home run for me. But B-Rob, I really appreciate that. And I went to the UCSD game. I did the game the other night. I had my son-in-law and my brother take me. They dropped me off right next to the arena. I was able to kind of hobble in and sit down, didn't walk around a lot. So I'm just kind of limited in what I'm doing here for about 2 weeks, about 14 days. I got to kind of take it easy. But B Rob, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. All right, Casey King. Good morning, Coach. Saw the tribute ceremony to Randy Jones on YouTube, and great tribute to Randy Jones. Oh, it was. You know, when they started playing that video, it was pretty rough. My wife said to me, she goes, I was really watching you when Bob Chandler was speaking, and what was going through your mind at that point in time. And I'm not really sure, but I know when I got up on that stage. I saw that big crowd out there. I saw all the people right down in front, and then the fans were in the stands. I was just thinking about Randy and some of the stuff Randy would have been saying. Randy would have said, "Man, get out, say what you got to say, get the hell off the stage," or something like that. I mean, I'll tell you what, Randy Jones, if you were having a bad day, you needed to like call Randy or see Randy because Randy, no matter what was going on in his life, he always made you feel special. And he was an amazing man. And really a one of a kind character, a real character. We had more fun together. I was telling people, I was sharing some stories with Maggie Coleman, Jerry Coleman's wife. Some of the stories about Randy and me and Jerry going down the elevator, like in the eighth inning when Randy and I'd be going ready to go to the post game and Jerry'd be leaving to beat the crowd. We had and Frank, our elevator operator who's been there at Petco Park for years, Frank and Jerry and Randy and we used to have some of the best times. And that's like a 1 minute ride on the elevator. And it became a nightly comedy act with those guys. Unbelievable. Very grateful I got to be a part of it, being a San Diego boy and growing up and really idolizing those guys. All right, Casey, good stuff right there, my friend. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to keep these questions coming. We'll get back to more questions in a minute. Keep them coming. You guys a little slow today out there. What's going on with all the question? I would expect you to pepper me with a lot of questions today. Okay, San Diego State basketball. Let's take a look at that. Didn't see the game on Saturday. I'll be very honest. I was down at Petco Park, but a good win. Uh, uh, nice win over UNLV, who can be very dangerous, especially on their home court. But the Aztecs got them and got them pretty good. Got them by 11 points, 82-71. Now that's going to be a big week for the Aztecs. Aztecs now 14-5, 8-1 in conference. And I didn't even get to comment on what happened over at Grand Canyon University. And I never blame officials, but how the hell do you make that call? I mean, how do you make that call? I mean, he didn't get him with the body. I don't know. I don't care what he said. The film don't lie. I mean, that was a brutal call. That was a game-changing call. You don't want a game to end like that. Miles Bird had nothing but leather on that block. You cannot make that call. And you know what? They tell me, according to Mark Ziegler, who puts the ratings of the officials, which don't mean crap to me. I had three guys the other night in the UC San Diego game I'd never seen before, never heard of them, and they called a marvelous basketball game, and who knows where they're rated. I have no idea, nor do I care. How are you reffing on that night? That officiating crew the other night in Grand Canyon, I don't know if they were good or bad, but I know the last call of the game was a miserable call that cost the Aztecs a win on the road. That doesn't take away that BJ Davis has got to hit at least the front end of the 1-and-1. They just didn't get it done. Unfortunate. I think the crowd probably played into that call by the official. I mean, it's deafening over there. I mean, nobody really wants to go play at Grand Canyon. They got such a great home court advantage. But that was a terrible call. I was watching that game, and oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And then I saw the picture the following day in the paper, and that just summed it up. Terrible call. But, they're never going to come out and say, hey, it was a bad call. Hey, basketball is really hard to officiate. I mean, you got big bodies moving constantly in front of you. but you can't make that call. I'm sorry, you cannot make that call in that situation unless the guy gets totally bulldozed. And he didn't get bulldozed. He got nothing but leather right back at him. But anyways, big week for the Aztecs. Wednesday night, they got Colorado State. And I watched the Colorado State game the other night against Utah State. Utah State came back and won, but Colorado State, it was at Moby Arena. It was crazy. People were fired up. They really played Colorado State tough until about the last 8 minutes. Then Colorado State kind of ran out of gas. So they got Colorado State Wednesday night at Viejas at 7:30. Saturday, this is what stinks. They've got to go up to Logan, Utah, and play local time up there. I guess it'd be 11 o'clock, but a 10 a.m. start our time. And those games are tough, man. Those games are tough. I remember playing in college and you play in a tournament and you got to play one of the early games before noon. Man, mentally and physically, man, your body's just not ready for that. But I'm not going to make an excuse. Aztecs can beat Utah State. I've watched Utah State play multiple times. They're good, but not great. Aztecs are playing much better basketball. I don't know about the status of Magoon Guath. Well, he doesn't look right to me. It doesn't look like mentally he's really into it. And, after a while, I understand coming off knee surgery. I had knee surgery at the end of my junior year in high school, and I had knee surgery after my junior year in college. And when you come back from knee surgery, you're afraid when you explode off your leg, and it was both on my left knee, you think your knee's going to explode. Well, Magoon Gloss a hell of a lot better athlete than I was or ever could have imagined to be, but he's not the same player. And I don't know, mentally, he just doesn't seem like he's there for me. And I know he got benched that one time. I don't know if he missed a meeting or a weight session, but things haven't been going good for him. If the Aztecs are going to go deep, and I mean deep into the postseason, hopefully the NCAA tournament, they got to get him right. But I'm going to tell you what, one of the most impressive players all year long for me, and one of the most improved players, is Miles Heide. He had a couple of big free throws in that game against New Mexico. Not a good free throw shooter. He's a grinding player. I mean, he plays hard. He is one of the most improved players in the Mountain West Conference this year. There's no question about it. And I watch a lot of basketball this time of year. I've been very impressed with how his footwork, his decision making down in the low post, his patience down in the low post. He's doing a heck of a job right now. And, the guards have been a little inconsistent from time to time. You never know who's going to be kind of taking the role. But the Aztecs should be able to beat Utah State. But don't stub your toe on Wednesday night against Colorado State, who's good enough to beat the Aztecs. So I'll be tuned in on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I'll be awake. Hopefully the Aztec basketball team will be awake. 'Cause that's tough. And I know it works for both teams, but when you travel, it's just a little bit more difficult. No question about it. And then Saturday night, I did a great game. Very well officiated, I might add. UC San Diego came up on the short end against a very talented Irvine team. They lost 71-69. Heck of a game. They had an opportunity. They had two 3-point opportunities late. Couldn't hit either one of them. So they're now 5-4 in conference play. They're 15-6. Still a good basketball team. And the Big West this year is really deep. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 teams that can knock one another off. I mean, they're going to take 8 teams to the Big West tournament. And I'll tell you what, I bet we'll have some upsets. Thursday night, good game. You got UC Santa Barbara, who's won 4 straight. They're coming in. And they like to get up and down the court going against UC San Diego. That'll be on Thursday night, Lion Tree Arena at 7 o'clock. And by the way, the other night against Irvine, that's the biggest crowd in Lion Tree Arena history. They had 4,000. You couldn't get in there. They were giving away bobbleheads that night. I know this Thursday night is going to be Spirit Night. So if you want to come, you better go online right now to UCSDTritons.com to get your tickets. A great college basketball atmosphere, I can tell you that. It's amazing. I started doing UC San Diego games 2 years ago. And to see the growth in basketball on that campus among the students is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. I used to ask students when I'd be walking in there, hey, you going to the basketball game? No, where do they play? I go right there. And now the student section is overflowed. They've had to move and make another student section because people are starting to come out, and I guarantee you Thursday night it's going to be crowded. So if you want to get to the game on Thursday night, make sure you go online and get your tickets for that. Okay, we got any other questions out there? We got any other questions out there that people would like to chime in? I can't believe that you Padre fans that are watching this program right now, I cannot believe you don't want to talk about Yu Darvish and what you think. What's your opinion on Yu Darvish? I say you pay him for 2026. And if he can come back and pitch, great. He stays with his contract. If he can't, then he announces his retirement and you get money back. That's what I would do. How would you handle it? If you're the Padres, and again, the Padres got to kind of wait and see what you and his agent want to do. What do they want to do? So we'll get to those questions in a minute. I got to mention the Super Bowl matchup. Okay, we got Super Bowl coming up. Going to be really a good match. I think Seattle wins it, but Seattle yesterday they outlasted the Rams. Rams are really good. Man, I'll tell you what, Sean McVay is one hell of a coach, and they just couldn't quite get it done there in the end. But give Seattle a lot of credit. How about Sam Darnold, the former USC quarterback, getting the job done? Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. How good is he, that wide receiver? And man, what a classy guy. I listened to about 2 different interviews from him, one with Aaron Andrews after the game, and then I saw one last night on ESPN. Man, class act. Class act. Seattle, people have been trying to write them off all year long. And to be honest with you, if I'd have been on Friday, I would have picked the Rams over the Seahawks. Seahawks did a great job. No question. They got a great defense, and they beat a really, really good Rams team. And then New England, Sean Payton, he should have kicked a field goal. Should have that chip shot rather than going for it on 4th down and trying to run that little rollout pass. That was a terrible call, by the way. And Sean Payton's a great offensive coordinator. Man, you either got to try to run the football to get that 1.5 yards, or you got to kick the field goal. If you're up 7-0 at home, kick the field goal, go up 10-0. Remember, you got a backup quarterback. How many opportunities are you going to get? Get points while you can get points. I learned that when I was about 6 years old from my dad. My dad was big on, unless the game's on the line, get the points when you can early. And Sean Payton, I think, kind of made a mistake there. But at the end of the day, Drake May didn't really do it with his arm. He did it with his legs yesterday. And then the snowstorm. Could you believe that? I mean, when the game started out, it looked really good there in Denver. I knew it was windy and probably cold, but it looked great. It nice and bright. Then all of a sudden, third quarter starts coming in. And as the third quarter goes on, you're starting to look at that field in the fourth quarter. You couldn't even play really. I mean, beyond recognition. They couldn't even, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, they couldn't even tell you what yard line the ball was on. They kept waiting for the NFL to tell officially what yard line is the ball on. By the way, I thought those guys had a hell of a broadcast yesterday. And I'll tell you, the other guys that had a great broadcast, I thought, Kevin Burkhardt, who's I think he's a hell of an announcer, and Tom Brady. I was never, ever a big Tom Brady guy when he played. Okay. A little too much of a country club guy for me, to be honest with you. Um, and maybe I've got him totally wrong, but I got to tell you, I thought he was okay last year as a first-year broadcast. I thought he was okay, and I thought he got a little bit better. I think this year he's been fantastic. I really think Brady, number one, he hadn't been out of the league that long, so he still knows a lot of people. That's the real challenge. When you're out of the league 5, 6, 7 years, and if you don't want to go down and do your homework and keep relationships, then you're going to slowly fade away as far as knowledge and things you can bring to a broadcast. But Brady's, I think, taken his game from a year ago. I think he's taken it to another level. And I was telling my wife yesterday, we were watching the game, I go, man, Brady's really gotten good. And I go, I didn't think he was bad last year. I thought he was learning. I go, as long as they don't coach him too much. The same thing with Roll. Let these guys just do their thing. Let them talk from their heart. These guys see things nobody else sees. That's why they're in that position. Troy Aikman, I think, had a really good year. There was a point in time 2, 3 years ago, I was starting to wonder if Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were kind of starting to, kind of get bored by everything. I thought Aikman had a hell of a year. Buck's a great announcer, no question about that. We got some good announcers, really good announcers. I'll tell you, that Greg Olson, I know he was the number 1 guy. He's on the number 2 team now, but he's a hell of an announcer. A lot of good announcers out there. I really enjoy listening to these guys. Okay, do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions people want to ask me this morning? Okay, we got anything else? There we go. There's my Dodger fan right there, big Richard Flores. Doesn't that name sound like a good switch hitting middle infielder for the Dodgers, like Rafael Landeskog or something like that? Padres will only go as far as Manny allows. His demeanor dictates the mood of the clubhouse and the team. I couldn't agree with you more. You know what? That's absolutely a home run, Richard. I totally agree. Manny comes in a good mood. Everybody's a little more fired up. Manny comes in, ho hum. Team plays ho hum. Couldn't answer it better than that. That's a good call by you, Richard. Nice job. Okay, what else we got today? Big Steve Tejas. Hi, Coach. I agree. I think you will be great in the dugout. He could help all of our pitchers. He helped Musgrove and Vasquez use uh, infield insight is gold. Absolutely. I mean, the more you talk to guys that have been there, done that. I mean, just Steve, and you pitch. You were a pitcher in college. I mean, it's about grips, about maybe changing your arm angle a little bit, maybe start breaking your hands a little bit early so you stay back. I mean, just little thing, landing on the inside part of your foot rather than landing with a toe, landing on your heel. Just little things that can make a difference. And what you're trying to do at certain pitches in the count, if it's 2-1, you don't want to go 3-1, but what kind of pitch do you want to try to get that guy to swing at, try to get him out? Some hitters, you may want to try to get them out early in the count. Some, you're going to have to go deep in the count. Just little things like that. You know what I'm talking about because you pitched at a high level. It's that simple. I mean, there's no substitute really in any walk of life for experience. You got to have experience. That's why, in baseball, and Steve, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. In baseball, and I know, and I'm not going to sit here and pick on the guys that look at a computer all day, but you got to have been around the game a little bit. Whether you've been a player, a coach, a manager, a bat boy, you got to be around the ballpark a little bit to really understand what goes into this game day in and day out. And if you've never really put on a uniform, and I'm talking about a high school uniform, a college uniform, let alone a pro uniform. If you've never put on a uniform and you're making decisions on guys that are playing at the highest level in the world, that's a rough one for me. That's a rough one for me. I mean, some of the guys that are making this didn't even play Little League, let alone high school, college, or professional baseball. Not with all organizations, but some organizations. I mean, I guarantee you this, and it's not Padres, take the Padres and the Dodgers, a few of these organizations, take them out of the equation. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about the Padres. I'm not talking about the Dodgers. Probably not talking about the Diamondbacks either, or the Giants for that matter. Colorado now changing things around. I guarantee you, 100%. If I had a role with a major league ball club, I mean a significant role, not just, an advisory role. I'm talking about a significant role on how things would be done. We would be a pretty good organization. Not immediately. It'll take some time because we'll start from the grassroots of the minor leagues. But I guarantee you, I know enough of people in this game at a lot of different levels that I could put together, I think, a pretty good group of guys and maybe gals to run an organization and do pretty damn good. If the owner stay out of the way, and we'd have a significant role. Okay, because I know enough of people in this game that, and I already know who I would talk to about my farm system, but I'm not going to tell you that because he's employed by another organization right now. But anyway, that's my take on that. But I do think you is going to bring a lot to this ball club. Absolutely. Steve, again, thank you very much. What else we got this morning? Okay, we're going to get to Coach's mailbag. What do we got in Coach's mailbag today? Should the Padres look into signing Julio Arias? We do forgive others for their past mistakes. Wow. Um, that's a tough one. And I'll tell you why. Julio Arias has had, to this point, and maybe it's not going to go any deeper than this point, he's had an incredible major league career. And I got some notes on Julio Arias. Let me take a look here. Kind of waiting to see if anybody's going to sign this guy. Um, Julio Arias, he's 29 years of age. So far, his entire career has been with the Dodgers. He hadn't pitched with the Dodgers for the last year and a half because of the suspension for domestic battery on his wife after a LAFC soccer game in 2023. He was charged with felony domestic assault of his wife. And that was the second time he had a domestic violence, by the way. It was in 2019. He had to go through a 52-week domestic violence class where he had to show up in person, by the way. I don't know. I mean, his record is unbelievable. 60-25, a 3.11 career ERA, got 710 punch outs and 717 innings. That's pretty damn good. But I haven't heard that anybody's going to sign him. I don't think the Padres would. They wouldn't sign Trevor Bauer, and Trevor Bauer was exonerated. And Trevor Bauer probably will never pitch in the big leagues again. Hey, could you imagine signing Trevor Bauer and Julio Arias? What would that kind of be a public relations nightmare? I don't think the Padres, I don't think a lot of teams want to take on a guy like Urias. I just don't see it. It's going to be tough. It wasn't the only one time. I mean, this guy, and I know the first one was he was a young guy, but it should never happen, quite frankly. But the last time was coming out of a soccer game, for crying out loud, right? And somebody got it on camera. I mean, that's crazy. So Padres aren't going to sign him. They won't sign him. I don't care how good he is. I don't think the Padres need that heartache. We'll see what happens, but he may end up having to pitch in Mexico and work his way back. I don't know. He may be done. He may be done. It wouldn't surprise me if he's done. But he ruined his own career more than anything else. I'm sure alcohol wasn't involved. I don't know for a fact it was, but you got to wonder. So, yeah, I don't think the Padres are going to sign him. Second time domestic violence, not good. Not good. I don't know how the guys in the clubhouse would look at that, to be honest with you. That's another thing you got to factor in, let alone the public relations situation. All right, what else we got here today? User 24245. Who do the Padres need to move on from this offseason? I thought they'd move Cronenworth's contract to save $60 million over the next few years, but doesn't look like that's happening right now. There was a report, and again, you got to really look at these things. I mean, day in and day out, there was a report that A.J. Preller was trying to put together a 5-team trade. And who would be involved in that? Have no idea. I can tell you one thing, and I know it was off Friday because of the procedure. The one guy, and I almost texted AJ last Wednesday about this. I really wanted to get Mackenzie Gore back. And he ends up going to Texas for 5 prospects. And I know there were some of the higher prospects for Texas, but I don't know how good they are. That's just a number that somebody puts on them, kind of like the 5-star, the 4-star college football guy. But I didn't text AJ that day. I have a feeling he was trying to get Mackenzie Gore back, but he ends up going to Texas 5-for-1, and the Rangers will have him for 2 years, 26 and 27. I'd like to see him get back here. And of course, we talked early last week about Freddie Peralta. Padres, Dodgers were trying to get him. He ends up going to the New York Mets. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, squads. I hope Merrill is going to be back to his usual self next season and not decline like Tatis. hopefully Fernando's going to pick it up power-wise. I mean, I'll take the 268, but I'll take it with like 35 homers rather than 25 homers. Merrill will be fine as long as he can stay healthy. He had a hamstring, he slid in head first, got a concussion. Wish these guys would go feet first. I don't want to even get on my soapbox on that. I hate the head first slide. The only time you should go head first is when you're going back into a bag, going back to first, going back to second, going back to third. Anytime you're sliding, give me the old pop-up slide. Know where the ball is. Put your back to the ball, so if it goes awry, it'll hit you in the back, not in the face. Going head first, I'll be honest with you. Uh, I think you're an idiot. Absolutely. And I actually had this conversation with Dave Roberts when he was a Padre coach, and Dave always went head first. And I go, Dave, here's why you don't go head first. And after we argued for like 20 minutes in the Padre dugout, he agreed with me. I don't know if he really agreed or he just wanted me to quit yelling at him. But I'm telling you, going head first, not a good thing. I mean, if you're going head first and you're a middle infielder, you're licking your chops when that guy comes in head first for a variety of different reasons. If that guy's coming with his spikes, you got something a little to be worried about. That's my take. But I think Merrill will be fine. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be fine. He'll have a good year. He's a good hitter, good ball player. Likes to play, it looks like. And by the way, him and Joe did a good job yesterday up there at the Miracle League. And congratulations to the Padres and Dan Engel and the Miracle League of San Diego. They're providing a tremendous service and putting a lot of smiles on a lot of kids and families' faces. I commend them for that. Okay, what else we got? Anything else today? I think we're done. I think we gave you a lot to think about today. We'll be back in on Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Again, please subscribe, please like, please share, please tell a friend. And again, if you'd like to be a part of our Gold Glove membership, you can join for $2.99 a month. It helps with some of our costs doing the program 3 days a week. And until Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Have a great day, and thanks again for tuning into the John Kentera Show live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Bye-bye.